Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, February 20th. So I have a lot of things that have happened in the last couple of weeks. If you do not follow me on a regular basis, a lot of this will not make sense. But some of you are invested in the neighbor story. So there's going to be some of that in there, some other stuff, some stuff about the neighbor upstairs. Let me go back a couple of weeks and kind of start from there. So I think it's been right at 2 weeks since I've done a video. And there has been a lot of energy in the air. I feel like I had some major ascension stuff going on like a week and a half ago, and a major upgrade that happened on a Saturday night. The last time I had anything like that was in 2018. And it was like where my body just like my muscles ached all the way to the bone, kind of like when you have the flu, but I didn't have a headache. I didn't have a stomach ache. I just hurt all over. And I ended up going to bed around 7-ish or something because it was just really uncomfortable, and thought I'm just like going to try to go to bed. But I think I laid there for like 5 hours thinking I'm getting an upgrade. And I finally got up about midnight and took some Advil, and that relieved the pain enough where I could finally get some sleep. Then the following week, there was some weird ass shit going on with my car. And back when, like a month ago, when one day we had a high of -5. That super duper cold weather is not good on vehicles. And there was one day that there was some god awful noise that came out of my truck, and then it stopped. I assumed it had to do with cold weather. And then last Tuesday, I guess it was a week ago today, maybe, I think it was, I got to work, forgot my cell phone. I sat there for a minute and I'm like, do I want to go back to the apartment and get it? And I'm like, yes, it'll drive me crazy even if I, like went home at lunchtime, because right now there's so many like phone second verifications and stuff that you have to have your phone for. And so I come flying home, and I'm coming south off of like the main road, and I heard, and this is what was weird. It sounded like I had a flat tire, but I did not have a flat tire. And I, fuck it. For all I know, it was a bunch of geese going over my head. I don't know. Whatever it was, it scared the living daylights out of me. And I come flying in to the apartment, and Ethan, the next door neighbor, and his work partner was in a truck and getting ready to head out. They were gone by the time I ran in. I was probably in and out within a couple of minutes, and so they were gone when I left. And he just like looked at me and waved, and so that very next, so that happened on a Tuesday, and then on a Thursday morning I stopped by the mechanic's shop to say I need to bring this in. I had some money in a Prudential, like a life insurance policy that I've been paying on since I was a teen. I remember I still lived with my mom and dad at the time, and they promoted it as like a retirement plan, like my ass. Maybe if I didn't borrow against it over the years, it might have some retirement money in it, but I don't really think it would have been much of a retirement money. It has been there when I got in a bind. And in this case, I'm like, I haven't dumped any money into the truck for about a year. And it still is cheaper for me to keep the truck and dump $1,000 or $2,000 into it, maybe once a year or every 2 years, to keep it going, over having a $400 or $500 car payment, because vehicles are so freaking ungodly expensive these days. So I kind of got a plan. I'm like, I'm going to get the money from the Prudential, and that's what I'm going to use to pay it. So I stopped by the mechanic's shop on Thursday, and I'm trying, I took him outside because I'm like, there is nothing worse than a woman trying to explain the weird noises coming out of her vehicle with a bunch of men sitting in the lobby or whatever. And I'm like, I can't, I'm like, I'm having a hard enough time explaining this to myself. forget having other people listen to me. So I took him outside and he made me feel a little bit better. He started it up and he revved the engine and he kind of was looking at me like, I'm not like seeing any like red flags or anything. But I will say this, one of the reasons I think my guides were the ones pushing me to get the truck fixed and find out that it wasn't as bad as my head had made it out to be, because I am an air sign. I overthink everything. And when it comes to vehicle problems, I can think myself into a tizzy in a heartbeat. One red light comes on or one weird noise and I'm going down a rabbit hole of like freak out. So I don't know if anybody else is like that or just me. But that next morning after the like thumping sound that I heard and trying to like wrap my head around what the hell that was, I got a vision of John Travolta in the movie Michael with his angel wings. And I'm thinking, that's kind of what that noise sounded like a whoop, whoop, whoop of angel wings like flapping over my head. I didn't think of that at the time. I thought of that the next morning. But I will also say, when I was in the truck and I was coming home and I was very distracted, I was out of my routine. And so when I'm in the truck, and a lot of times when I know that I am super distracted, I will repeat, keep me safe, keep me safe, keep me safe, keep me safe, to kind of bring my guides in to like help me, because I feel like I might be a little, not paying attention like I should because my mind is off somewhere else. And I wonder, sounds crazy as shit, and I realize that, I wonder if the noise that I heard was Archangel Michael flapping his wings, keeping me safe, and I assumed it was something bad. Whatever the case is, I got my truck in yesterday. I have to pick it up today. I did not need a new exhaust system like I was told a couple of years ago from what I feel like was a car dealership that probably ripped me off to no end. And I wished I had never taken it there, because they fucked up a bunch of stuff when they pulled out the dash, because I had a recall on the blow up bag. What is that called? Not whatever. I've never had one blow up on me before. Airbag. So they took the dash out to do this recall, even though I really didn't want him to. And then half the buttons on the inside didn't work after that. So I've never taken my truck back to them, and never ever will, or give recommendations to them. So the car place that I took it to yesterday came highly recommended to one of the gals that I work with. She's like, I've been taking my vehicle there for 20 years. When my husband was alive, he went there. My brother comes down from Wisconsin and he goes there. I've taken her there a couple of times while her car has been in the shop. So I finally, and it's like, I could walk there in 10 minutes, like seriously, 10 or 15 minutes. It's that close to where I live if I can get through the fence. Anyway, so I'm getting myself distracted. So I took that in yesterday. I'm getting new tires, a new end alignment. I've got a wheel bearing out. And so I feel like I have, there's a tarot card out there where there's the woman, I think it's the 9 of Swords maybe, where there's a woman that's got a blindfold around her eyes, and the tarot readers always say it's a trap of your own making. And I feel like that's what I had done, because my mental trap had me trapped for several years. And if I had just done what I did this week, which was decide to get out of that trap, because the stress was about to, I was losing sleep over it, and I've lost a lot of sleep over, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this? Oh my God, what am I going to do if my truck quits running? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it just was constant. And I wasn't going any place, because I'm like, I can't put any more miles on this truck because I can't afford a new one. And after having them look at it and having someone that I trust look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I might be able to go drive around a little bit and go someplace besides 5 or 10 minutes from my house and not be like freaking out that I'm going to have a breakdown. So that was a trap of my own making that I just got myself out of, because I think my guides literally were like maybe making sounds because they were pushing me to do something about it. And I was resisting. I mean, I resisted for a long time, which is my bad. So think about what you have in your life that is stressing the shit out of you, and then think about how you are resisting and why you are resisting, and is the fix to it easier than you are expecting. So that has happened. Oh, you guys want to hear about the neighbor next door, don't you? So I have talked to him several times, and just to backtrack a little bit, my neighbor next door is the one that I had frozen pipes with. We ran into each other out in the parking lot leaving for work one morning back in January, and introduced ourselves, and I got his name, and that's when he told me he climbed cell phone towers. And I'm like, oh my God, a man, a freaking man, like an actual man with a job. I mean, I'm just saying, the last one that I had in my life, I question. He was there for a reason. I learned a lot from him, but I don't know. I've been pleasantly surprised with Ethan. So I have run into him several times in the last couple of weeks, and I do not know if this is coincidence or if this is intentional, but it seems like twice when I've come home from work, he's been out front with the dog, walking Sadie. And one morning when I was leaving for work, last Monday morning, I was leaving and he was out walking her. So has he learned my coming and going time? Maybe. I don't know whenever he's coming home, but I've kind of figured out when he leaves in the morning. I'm more predictable. I always get off at 5. So then I'm home by like 5:15. So anyway, like one day we stood out in the parking lot and talked for like 35 minutes. And then one day we talked for like 20 minutes. And it's like he's answering a lot of the questions that I've had, and I haven't even had to ask. And one of the things that he said, I don't know, a week or so ago, was that he wanted to grow a garden. And I was like, oh my God. Do you guys remember my little garden that I had on the balcony 2 years ago when I still lived in the other apartment? Do you remember how excited I got when I found out we had a community garden here in this new place and that I might have access to do something with that? I was just like, holy shit. So we seem to have a lot in common. And I also I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting him off my mind, and I don't know what has happened there, but whatever the case, I left Sunday. I was going out to put gas in the truck before I took it to the shop yesterday, and he happened to be out front. And I went out the front that day because we had snow. When it's snow and sloppy in the back, I have to walk through grass, so I don't go that way all of the time. If it's dry, I usually walk out that way because it's quicker to the truck. When it's sloppy and snow and messy, I just go around the front because I have sidewalk and a parking lot that's a lot cleaner. So I had walked out that way on Sunday, and he was out front. Now, that was, neither one of us were expecting to see each other on that one. So we were standing out there talking for a little bit, and I said I had yesterday off, Monday off, and he's like, I wish I had tomorrow off. He's like, I got to go to Detroit. And I'm like, driving or flying? And he said, driving. And so we talked about that for a little bit. And then he asked me if I would help him out with Sadie if he needed me. And I was like, yeah, sure. Frankly, it kind of freaked me out a little bit because I'm like, oh my God, obviously he trusts me, because I would have to go into his apartment to get her. And I was kind of stunned, and I feel like he told me that, and then I kind of bolted. So I did that because it kind of freaked me out. Not because I was just like, whoa, okay, moving fast. And so anyway, he didn't end up asking me to help with her yesterday. He had mentioned that he has his mom and his sister to help out with her if needed. My guess is, and this is just my thought, my guess is if he told his mom and his sister that he had a neighbor lady that might be able to help out, they were like, no, you can't let a stranger in. Oh my God, no. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it, because they don't want another woman coming in there and taking their place. So that has transpired. And then one of the other things that was super funny, Thursday night, I guess it was Thursday night. This is one of the reasons you haven't heard from me. Again, I've had a lot of sleepless nights. It's either been stress related, ascension related, or the dude upstairs. And I don't know if it's a dude or a dudette. I literally saw a guy walking into the building over the weekend, like a week and a half ago, and he walked up the stairs. Oh God, a bug. Walked up the stairs above me, and I assumed he was going to the apartment above me. I have not met that person. Maybe that's the boyfriend, and there's a woman that lives up there, or vice versa. I don't know. Whatever the case is, Thursday night, I think I fell asleep for a while, and then I woke up hearing noises from up there. And it was a clicking sound that kept clicking. Obviously, there was some sex going on up there. And it wasn't a thumping, it was a clicking, like the bed frame metal against metal. And I'm laying there bitching up a storm, because I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I hearing this? And it went on for a while, and then it stopped, and then it started again. And I'm just laying there like judging the performance, like going, oh my God, this sounds so boring, because it was just kind of slow. What does that say about me? So anyway, I'm like literally like bitching up a storm, thinking, oh my God, does he have like a new girlfriend? Am I going to have to be listening to this shit all the time? Why am I hearing this? I'm like, I never hear anything. It's always so quiet. I'm like, these earplugs aren't working with their crap. And I stuck my fingers up, and I had forgotten to put my earplugs in. So I bitched and moaned there for 20 minutes for no good reason. Now, the relief was, thank God I had forgotten my earplugs, because I'm not going to have to listen to that all the time. I told that story last Friday, I don't know how many times, and I was still laughing my ass off on Friday night, because it was funny. It's like, these damn earplugs ain't worth that crap. And I'm like, it's because they weren't there. Anyhow, okay, let me think. I have covered the neighbor next door. I have covered the neighbor upstairs. I have covered the car and the car making noises, and basically what has felt like for me personally, I don't know if anybody else has felt this way, I felt like I was being pushed through an energetic birth canal. And when I was doing it, I was like, it was like, I'm going to just say the guides were like, they were shoving me through, even though I've been very resistant for a couple of years. But it's like, they were like, you have got to do this. You've got to get through this pain. And I'm like, they squished me through. And then once I got to the other side, it was like a lot of relief. So I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that. That would be interesting to know. And one last thing for the Transact card Finmore people. I haven't done a lot of trying to keep myself caught up, because there's been so much other shit going on in my life. But Finmore opened its doors yesterday. So from what I can tell, and I think I mentioned this before, is I think Transact card, they have great ideas. And so Finmore just kind of took the ball from Transact card. Transact card had a lot of particular ideas. I think they made a lot of promises, and they were not able to keep them, because they just kept having roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. So they still have Transact card, and apparently it is going to stay open. But Finmore said, we're going to take the best that Transact card has. We're going to move forward with that, with a new name, add a few things, because there's a lot of people out there that need help, and we can't wait. Some people cannot wait a year or two for them to get things going with Transact cards. So I think there was a decision made by the leadership council. This works, this works, this works, this works. Let's take what works, move that over here, get that moving forward. Transact card is still there. They've got some good ideas, but it's going to be slower getting some of those put together. And Peter Rancy still running both of them. Yesterday they opened up the store, I think. I haven't been on it yet. I still have some things to do to transfer. I did go into Finmore this morning the first time. I still need to do my KYC, which is know your customer. And I need to get familiar with some stuff in there, but you guys can move forward with that if you want. That one is working and functional for the most part. They might have a few hiccups. I don't think they will have the hiccups or the stops and starts like Transact Card. I think that's one of the reasons they kind of revamped some stuff, is because so many people were getting pissed and frustrated because it was like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. And so, like I said, they just they left the stuff that was giving them problems with Transact Card. Maybe that's like their trial thing. They'll test things out with Transact Card, and when it works, they'll move it over to Finmore. I never thought about that. That makes sense. There's a test dummy corporation over here to figure out what works, because they learned a lot of lessons. They found out, these people were setting up bots and taking all the flash sales just like that. So they have a lot of crooked people that jumped on board with Transact Card and really threw a wrench in a lot of the plans. So they learned how to get rid of them. They learned things from that. And then they started the whole Finmore system. So that does make sense. Transact Card kind of feels like maybe it is the test dummy system. Let's find out what the jackasses are going to do with this and get the bad guys and get it so they can't do that on the Finmore system. I don't know. That's just a guess. Anyway, I think that's it. I better get off here. I have a gal that's coming to pick me up for work this morning to take me in. She's the gal that introduced me to this mechanic's place. So I need to get off of here, and everybody have a good week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.